How did one woman outsmart a serial killer?
Barbara Mabee was born a twin. She loved her twin sister, but she understood that she had disabilities. Her sister Beverly was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. This only made Barbara love her sister more, and when she became of age, she decided to still live at home with her mother to help out with Beverly. Barbara became pregnant with her son Dale, and she decided to raise her son in a home full of love with her and her sister and her mother. Everyone adored Dale, but tragedy struck when Barbara's mother passed. Barbara and Beverly tried to keep everything positive for Dale. But things took a turn for the worse on November 14th, 1973. Dale frantically knocked on their neighbor's door with blood all over him and bruises on his arms and legs. He told them that his mother had been kidnapped. But it got worse because 2 days later, on November 16th, a state trooper named Charles Eugene Campbell spotted Barbara's vehicle and told dispatch that he was going to pull the car over. But after this, they never heard from the trooper again. This was something that they had never heard of before. Someone kidnapping a state trooper? Police were fully vested in this manhunt. They got helicopters, started creating roadblocks. The suspect they were looking for was Paul John Knowles. He was a man that was responsible for taking over 30 lives across the country. And this was only in a span of a couple months. There was no limit to his wrath. He took the lives of kids, women, men, even families. Meanwhile, he took Barbara to a hotel. He gave her a fake name and he told her that they were husband and wife. Barbara, not wanting to get anybody else in trouble, decided to follow along with his plan. Once they got into the room, he told Barbara to get undressed. Barbara said she didn't want to, and he still proceeded to essay her. When he couldn't perform the way he wanted to, he started attacking Barbara. Barbara was afraid that he was going to take her life that night, but she ended up asking him why he was doing this, and he snapped out of his rage and told her that he was sorry. She described his moods as hot and cold, but she ultimately decided that for her to live, she had to make him fall in love with her. So she started calling him pet names, asking him what his interests were, and just getting to know him in general. This was when she found out that he had taken many lives, and this only terrified her even more. He told her that he wished he would have met her at a different time in a different setting before he had done all the bad things that he did. In the hotel room, the news came on, and they confirmed that her sister and her son were safe. She said she wanted to cry, but she also didn't want to upset Paul John Knowles. He even took her out to eat the next morning at a diner, and she looked around and she was surprised that nobody noticed that she was on the news. But she once again played along with the plan that Paul put in place. Meanwhile, a few miles away from where Barbara lived, the police found a vehicle that belonged to a man named William Bates. The man was strangled and discarded, but the vehicle had a mountain of evidence. It had different people's credit cards, some forms of their IDs, and fingerprints. One of the credit cards was identified as Carswell Cars card. Him and his daughter was found in his residence slain. It was a double homicide. The police was closing in on Knowles. Back at the hotel, Knowles had left the room to smoke, but he left the keys inside of the room and locked the door on his way out. Him and Barbara noticed this after he finished smoking, because he started jingling the door. He did it for a couple moments. Barbara was scared and stayed still. He gave up and said, "Now when they come pick you up, don't tell them that I hurt you, and I love you." Barbara waited a little while to make sure he was gone, and then she called the hotel staff to tell them that she was the missing woman on the news. She just couldn't wait to get back home and see her son Dale and her sister Beverly. Even once she was back home, she couldn't rest. Even though he was in custody, she thought that he could break out and come back and look for her. He was offered a plea deal where he would get lesser time if he helped them find the trooper's body and another male victim. Knowles agreed, and then he proceeded to try to grab the officer's gun and make a run for it. This is when the officer gunned him down. After Barbara heard this news, her fears subsided, and she finally felt like she regained power of her life. Knowles would have been out here still taking lives if he hadn't have gotten outsmarted by this woman.